Call upon the Honorable Alexander O'Connor to have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Cabinet Ministers and fellow Assistant Ministers, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Members of Parliament, members of the public in the gallery, and those watching from the comforts of their homes or through the internet and listening to the radio. A very good morning to you all. Madam Speaker, I rise to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Fiji, for his most gracious speech on the occasion of the opening and first sitting of Parliament after the 2018 general election, and to deliver my maiden speech. Madam Speaker, in his address to the nation, His Excellency the President said, and I quote, "And we see a better life in the new development that has swept across the nation, bringing water, electricity, and telecommunications to Fijians in even the most rural and remote regions of our country, at a rapid pace never before witnessed in our history. And when it comes to expanding access to these essential services, services that literally transform our people's lives for the better, the pace of that development must be maintained or even increased," unquote. His Excellency further stated, and I quote, "The legislative program for this parliamentary session will include new legislation on the formulation of a new independent land tribunal, including public health protections, amongst others," unquote. Madam Speaker, in the Republic of Fiji's 5-year and 20-year National Development Plan, styled Transforming Fiji, which was launched in Bonn, Germany last year by our Prime Minister, the Fiji First government has already embarked on some of these initiatives and have already made significant progress in increasing the overall life expectancy of Fijians and improving health outcomes. Maternal and infant mortality rates have declined. Primary health care is well established, particularly with the recognition of community health workers. To further enhance their existence in the community, the Ministry of Health and Medical Services will be providing them with an insulated cubicle as a workstation to tend to the sick, and will have access to a computer to assist in the collation of patient information that can be uploaded to the Patient Information System database held at the divisional hospitals. Substantial investment have been made in the construction and upgrading of hospitals, health centers, and nursing stations. These include the recent opening this year of the McCoy Maternity Unit, the Nakasi Health Center, and the Vatukarasa Nursing Station in Tailevu, to name a few. Construction on the new subdivisional hospital in Keasi, which is expected to serve not only the provinces of Novosa and Nandranga, but also the Mukuya and Nassori Highland area, is already underway. The public-private partnership proposed in the 2017-2018 budget release has witnessed the recent signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Government of Fiji and Aspen Hospitals of Australia for the management and operations of the new Ba Hospital and the Lautoka Divisional Hospital. Current nursing stations are earmarked to be upgraded to health center status due to the increase in population and the distance from the nearest subdivisional hospitals. New nursing stations will be constructed in rural and remote areas as and when the need arises, and on approval and receipt of 60% of the land-owning unit or Matangali. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Health and Medical Services will pursue strategies to tackle non-communicable diseases in the country. A multi-sectoral approach through improved health education, production and adequate supply of fresh fruits and vegetables, and promotional and awareness campaigns will be further enhanced to address this issue. The Ministry of Health and Medical Services will raise the standard of ambulatory services to another level by introducing paramedical services. This will see ward nurses and drivers enrolling in an 8 to 9 month course before being assigned to specially outfitted ambulances, purchases for which are already in the process of delivery. Madam Speaker, please allow me first and foremost to give thanks to the Almighty for providing me the strength, wisdom, and guidance to get through each day and allowing me the noble task of serving you all, the citizens of our beloved Fiji. I wish to thank my late parents for their exemplary parenting of me and my siblings for the persons we are today. I wish to thank the Fiji First Movement leader, the Honorable Prime Minister Vorenga Bainimarama, and the Fiji First Movement General Secretary, Honorable Ayaz Sayed Qayyum, for confiding in me and allowing me to stand again in the recent elections. I wish to thank my beautiful wife, Margaret, who has always been by my side, offering guidance, wisdom, and comfort. Our son, Lyndon, our daughter, Erica, and her family, our nephew, Cameron, who have all been pillars of strength, together with relatives and friends, for their unwavering support during the campaign period and leading up to the recent elections. I wish to thank Alan Peterson and the people of Mate and Naselesele, Tuirambi and the people of Lobonivonu, the people of Tavuki and Narusa in Wairiki, Herbert Whippy and the people of Kasavu and Mokusinga, Romulus Lanyon and the people of Kulandrusi, Nangere and Watundamu, Dharmendra and Parvin of Lambasa, the Tui Nassau, his son Levi, and people of the Tikina Nassau, Lepani Drew and Elisa Ndau of Marotu in Ra, Kamlesh Chand of Reki Reki, David Handyside of Watakola, Naita of Naindronromba, Mahen and Suren of Latoka, the Campbells of Nakavu, and Dinesh and Kanta of Malolo Nandi. I wish to thank all those Fijians who voted for me, and to those who did not, may I say, I am here to serve you all the same. I wish to thank the Fiji First Movement stakeholders and supporters for their tireless efforts and support prior to and during the campaign period and the eventual outcome of the elections. Madam Speaker, my career path spans some 42 years since my leaving school in 1969. Upon leaving school, I joined Millers Limited in Suva as a trainee fitter machinist, specializing in engine and machinery repairs of marine vessels, particularly fishing boats. Having not been compensated for an injury I sustained during that employment, I left to seek work in Latoka a year later. In 1971, I took up a position as fleet supervisor with United Touring, responsible for scheduling coaches and chauffeur cars, until 1973, when I joined Fiji Tours Atlantic and Pacific Travel as a tour coordinator, being responsible for large tour groups from the United States, South America, and Europe. In July of 1975, I enrolled with the then Royal Fiji Military Forces Naval Squadron and was one of those fortunate enough to have sailed on one of the three former U.S. minesweepers, Kula, Kiro, and Kikau, from Seattle in the U.S. to Fiji via Hawaii. During this time, I attained my Marine Engineer Certificate from the then Derrick Technical Institute, now FNU. In 1979, I opted out of the Navy and secured a position as Chief Engineer on Vakanrove Mbua Madawata's landing craft, MV Nduavata, trading as ferry freight services. Whilst with ferry freight services, I was seconded to Wong Shipping to their vessel MV Tovata to the Gilbert and Ellis Islands, now known as Kiribati. Whilst with Wong Shipping, ferry freight went into liquidation, and upon my return to Fiji, I joined Carpenter Shipping as a boarding officer in January of 1980. Between 1980 and 1989, I rose through the ranks to become Transport and Wharf Operations Manager. During this time, Carpenter Shipping was the principal customs, clearance, and transport provider for the major overseas contractors as well as local for the Manasawu and Wailoa Hydro Project and the Nangano Water Catchment Project. In 1990, I joined Union Steamship as Operations Manager, managing Interport Shipping and Wong Shipping vessel, the MV Spirit of Free Enterprise, the largest roll-on, roll-off, and passenger vessel ever to operate in. In 1991, I joined Forum Shipping Line as operations manager, a consortium of Samoa, Tonga, New Zealand, and Fiji business ventures. In February of 1992, I was offered the position of Regional Manager West with Fiji Gas Limited, based in Lautoka, and was instrumental in changing from customer cylinder exchanges to bulk filling operations at resorts and hotels in the West, including throughout the Momonudas. Also during my tenure, saw the installation of a 200 liquefied petroleum gas storage tank, almost 8 kilometers of high-density polyethylene trunk main, and over 200 kilometers of reticulated medium-density polyethylene ring and branch lines at all residential subdivisions and resorts on Denarau Island. I was also involved in the reticulation of LP gas medium-density polyethylene ring mains at both the Outrigger on the Reef in Sigatoka and the Intercontinental Resort and Spa at Natandola. While still with Fiji Gas, I took up a challenge of becoming the manager training, occupational health, safety and environment in 2004. In July of 2009, Origin Energy Australia, Fiji Gas's parent company, positioned me in Pago Pago, American Samoa, to become its regional operations manager, Polynesia. This position required me to relieve country managers and carry out terminal engineering audits in the two Samoas, Vanuatu, Cook Islands, and training all personnel in all aspects of the liquefied petroleum gas industry, including Fiji. I retired from Origin Energy Australia in May of 2012. Madam Speaker, since retiring, I have been a freelance consultant for a host of Fijians requiring assistance for housing, education, power, water, sanitation, transport, roading, and land issues with a success rate of 80% plus. Madam Speaker, my interest in politics started in 2013 when close friends and relatives suggested that I contest the 2014 national general elections, to which I took up. Although I was not successful on the first count of votes, I entered Parliament in July of 2015 upon the resignation of a party member. In September of 2016, after a cabinet reshuffle, I was appointed the Assistant Minister for Health and Medical Services with particular responsibilities to public health. My leadership qualities, managerial skills, customer service excellence, extrovert personality, and practical expertise augured well for me to fulfill my continued role as Assistant Minister for Health and Medical Services. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to take this opportunity in congratulating you on your return as Speaker of this Parliament for another term. You are an inspiration to the feminine gender of this country and abroad. I also congratulate Honorable Vina Bhatnagar for her nomination